What's up, y'all? It's Evan. I'm back with another video. First thing I have to say is that you are God, you are a source, you are all that is. There's nothing that can stop you from experiencing what you desire except for you. You have to accept those thoughts, ideas, and beliefs for yourself for you to experience that reality, okay? So whatever you've been saying is hard, it's not working out, this is not the way I want it to be. Go ahead and flip the script, because the moment you do, you can experience everything you desire. All right. Now, let's lock in, okay? So I was having this talk with my sister about faith over fear, and I was basically talking about how when you enter a state of fear, it's like impossible for you to make the right decision, because you get super analytical, you get super logical. Fear is not who you truly are. That's the first thing I want to say. Fear is not of you, of not of the real you, the unconditional loving you, the abundant you, who you really are. There is no way to be and act in your true self while perpetuating a state of fear within yourself, because it's not who you are. It's not who your soul is. It's not the essence of who you are, if that makes sense. You know, it's the opposite of who you are. It is the lack. It is something that can only exist, I'd say can only exist on a three-dimensional plane, because fear comes from lack. Fear comes from separation. When you go within, there is no separation. You can experience anything at any moment. So, like, you know, the only way you can experience fear is by identifying with a version of you that is separate from what you desire. Okay? So if you can drop the separation, you can drop the fear. All right? But I want to talk to you about how inspire action from a state of being you don't desire to be in has been creating your world this entire time, and is the reason why you end up in situations and in places that you don't desire to be in. Okay, so state of fear has to be perpetuated by you repeating the undesired outcome within. All right, we went over that. Choose your reality regardless to what the outside shows you, regardless to what you feel, regardless to what people say, because that is what's creating your reality at the end of the day. Even what people are saying to you, if you can witness it, if you are aware of it, if it's in your view and your experience, that means you created it. All right, the moment you leave this place, the experience leaves too. Okay, you cannot, you know, there's no possible way for your personal experience, this personal viewpoint, to exist if you aren't here, if you aren't on this planet. So just think about it like that. I'm literally creating everything. This is literally my world, my reality. When I say you are God, when I say you are all that is the truth. You literally are. This awareness, this you, this viewpoint that God gets to have through you, through your human body, through your experience, through your five senses, it can only come from you. You feel me? So at the same time, you're creating every single thing in your reality. You're deciding how people interact with you. You're deciding what opportunities you get. You're deciding your entire experience the moment you shift yourself. All right. So when you're in your desired reality, you have no choice but to take the correct action in the without. Okay, so this is gonna tie into the inspired action thing, but all roads lead to your desire when you're internally aligned. Okay, so you're always internally aligned to some reality, to some version of you, to some experience that you will have in your 3D. All right. So when it comes to you experiencing fear, that is completely because you are experiencing that reality. You shifted yourself to that identity where you have a reason to fear. I'm attached to this. This has to be perfect. This has to be right. Or so-and-so isn't going right. I need this to happen by so-and-so date. Now I have to experience fear. And now every action I take, including the actions, now the actions I take, I'm not able to get the inspiration that takes me in this direction. I'm being pushed in a direction of, I don't have what I want. This is not working out. You know, I have to take those actions that lead me to that reality, because that's where my identity is. That's exactly where it is. It's creating everything around me, but it's not just things that I interact with. It's also me. It's how I interact with my world that I'm changing too. So that's why it's so important to change who you are with every single step that you take. If you can go within first and make that the first thing you do is go within and see yourself with it already. See yourself as the version of you that is him, that is her, that is has everything they desire first, and then take the action. The action is going to be the perfect action. You'll know that you'll be able to remember that when you're in your desired reality within the without, the actions you take in the without, you cannot make a misstep. You cannot make a wrong step. Every step you take is going to lead you to where you need to go, regardless to what the logic says. We're not worrying about the logic. We're worrying about who we are. Okay? We're seeking the kingdom first instead of going straight to fear and logic about whatever is happening in our reality, because it's so limited. The perception is so limited. You know, you don't realize that your mental reality is creating your external reality, and you're sending yourself in loops saying, well, how do I get this? How do I get that? How do I trying to figure out how, not knowing that when I'm asking how, I'm saying I don't have it. I don't have it. I'm continuously saying, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. And that's what the world has no choice but to show me, the fact that I don't have it. Okay? So what happens when you aren't aligned? You place yourself in a state of fear, and all the actions you take have no choice but to lead you towards your undesired outcome. Why is that? Because you've been selecting your reality with your awareness this entire time. Okay? The universe, God, is impartial. It does not care. It's not judging. You're not being judged on, you know, what actions you take, how hard you work. You're not being judged based on how happy you are. It is completely up to who you decide to be, what you choose. Okay, all of it is, even the signs you experience. I fall into that trap sometimes of thinking, oh, this is a sign, or this is a this is a that. Like, if you're God, what does any of that stuff matter? You're deciding your reality anyway. This is your reality. It's your reality. You're making all of the decisions. You decide what happens. You decide what doesn't happen. It is completely up to you. You just stay in the state regardless to what the external shows you. And then that's when it appears in your reality. But you have to be there, experience it within without the proof or evidence in the without. And that's when it can show up in the without, okay? So, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for watching this video. My email is going to be linked down below, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.